As I became an orthopedic surgeon over the last 25 years, I discovered something interesting. Our female athletes would have many more ACL injuries than our male athletes. These were discovered first when the NCAA, as well as the female basketball players in the pros, were watched when they would land after getting rebounds. When they would land with their legs more knock-kneed, while the male athletes would land with their legs more separated, a much safer way to land when you're protecting your ACL and trying to prevent anterior knee pain. Let's take a look at our athlete and see if she has any of these issues going on with her today. Our female athletes tended to land with their legs more knock-kneed. This knock-kneed landing tended to place more shearing stresses across the anterior kneecap, as well as, more importantly, their ACL. Landing with the knees coming in is very dangerous for their ACL and causing anterior knee pain. Landing with the knees in a more separated position is a much safer way of landing, and they can practice this by jumping off of boxes and landing in a much safer position. This will protect your female and male athletes from injuries. Let's try that with the landing in a better separated position this time. Perfect. Again. Again. Perfect. We laid our athlete back and we give them a little stretchy band. These are exercise bands that can be obtained either online or at your physical therapist shop, and you can come and see us for picking them up as well. This band is tied and they come in different colors which have different strengths. It's tied right around the knees, and then we have the athlete push apart against the resistance of the band. You're going to have them do several of these, 3 sets doing almost 20 of them. Go ahead and do those. Perfect. You're doing it nice and controlled, and what you're strengthening is the muscles around the hip. We're going to show you one more of these different exercises while doing it standing. The next exercise to build strength in both the muscles of the hip as well as the muscles of the vastus medialis is this mini squats. Your athlete is going to stand with a band around their knees, and they're going to squat down to about 45 degrees. And then by doing that, you can even toss a ball back and forth to them where they're going to push against the resistance of the band. Go ahead and do a couple of those. Perfect. And by doing that, you're going to build the strength in both the muscles around the knee as well as the muscles of the hip. This is a perfect exercise, and we're going to show you one more modification of this that really helps build strength in the hips. Now there's lateral strength.
The following is a presentation of BFA Sports.
And welcome back here to the 2023 Seagull Classic. It is Camden Catholic set to take on EHT. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel bringing you all the action here as the 8-1 Eagles take on the 6-1 Irish in a highly anticipated game. Mike, might be the most highly anticipated game of the day here.
I think you're right. I think when you looked at the schedule, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, there's certainly some good games tomorrow. There's some good games today, but of the Saturday slate, this is sort of the one people were circling. EHT, one of the better public schools in South Jersey this year, off to an 8-1 start. Camden Catholic, one of the better non-public schools this year, off to a 6-1 start. They're only lost the Irish so far coming against Camden, so no shame there, obviously.
And the only loss for EHT was to St. Augustine. They lost 54-51 back at the tip-off in Ocean City. So they want to prove that, hey, that was a one-loss aberration. Here's a chance for them to do it tonight.
Yeah, EHT, it's a balanced team. I mean, DJ Gurman, the senior point guard, he kind of makes them go, right? Gurman sets the table. He can get buckets. He can set other players up. Jameel Wilkins is a Holy Spirit transfer. Christian Rando can fill it up from the outside. And then guys like Jay Nelly Reyes and Keon Elliott provide great starting minutes as well. They're a team that likes to spread the points around, so EHT can beat you in a lot of ways.
Now, they lost Carlos Lopez, the leading scorer, but here they are 8-1. So how have they kind of been able to, pick up the scoring that he was the top scorer in the league last year? This is a lot of points that they've lost.
Well, other guys have stepped up. I mean, and a lot of experience, too. I mean, this is a team that lost to the eventual South Jersey Group 4 champion Lenape in the sectional semifinals last year, so it was a deep playoff run. A lot of these guys were key contributors on that team, mainly Reyes and Gurman. Wilkins is a guy who played a ton of minutes in Holy Spirit, so they've seen a lot of varsity basketball, right? Elliott is a kid who transferred in out of state, but obviously played some big-time basketball, so they've stepped up. They've spread it around, but Gurman, like we talked about, he's kind of the guy for EHT.
Camden Catholic, that's a traditional power. You hear that name, you think of a Crawford. They've got a Crawford, but they've got a lot on this team. At 6-1, this Irish team is pretty talented.
Yeah, the Irish are younger, so EHT starts 5 seniors. The Irish will start just a couple of seniors, but a couple big-time sophomores, and it's the sophomores to really keep an eye on today, Mike. Toby Wobu and Luke Kenevin, 2 of the top sophomores in South Jersey. We saw, another excellent sophomore in the last game, Kenny Smith of Hamilton. These 2 kids can fill it up as well. Wobu is their leading scorer. Kenevin is really second in that department. And then, it's the senior guards. It's Braylon Crump and Andrew Crawford that'll have to play some big minutes as well. Maybe not offensively, but trying to slow down EHT defensively.
Vidro and Elliott are in the circle, ready to jump things off. Camden Catholic dressed in green with black trim. EHT in their white and black as we are set to go here at the Seagull Classic. The Eagles win the tip, and they have the basketball moving right to left as we start things off at the Seagull Classic. Game number 4 today of a 7-game slate, all right here on BFA Sports. And a catch on the sideline and a quick travel, and we got a quick turnover.
Unforced error early on, and unfortunate for EHT because I think Camden Catholic was, I don't know how, but just a little bit confused as to what they were doing defensively coming out. Looked like they were in a matchup zone, and they were in the middle of switching a couple players when that turnover occurred.
Block in the middle of the paint to get things started for the EHT defense. Cam Bell, the head coach for the Eagles, looking at his Eagles at 8-1. Shot is up off the glass, high, no good. Rebound is on the move. Here they come, the Eagles. And the layup, German, is good.
Yeah, Gurman, as quick as they come coast to coast. I mean, he's a Division I track prospect. Could certainly go play some college basketball somewhere, too. But he is quick, and when he's on the dribble, he doesn't slow down much at all.
So Gurman gets the scoring started. Now he gets the rebound, and here come the Eagles up the near sideline. Top of the key, left-hand dribble, right-hand layup is short, poked up in the air, and the rebound is ripped down. Here come the Irish on the right wing. They leave it out for 3, and that one is pure Wobo.
Yeah, that's their guy, Toby Wobu. He's scored in bunches so far this season for the Irish, and again, just a sophomore, but doesn't need a lot of opening there to fire.
Joe Wobu's 3 gives the Irish a lead. A little bit more scoring already than the first game we did.
This game will be played at just a little bit different pace as that Haddonfield-Hamilton one.
Gurman. Top of the key. Spins, paint, layup, too strong. Putback is short, and the rebound is rolled out towards the sideline, picked up by Camden Catholic. Bounce pass. Loses the handle. Left of the lane, cut off nicely. Thought about a 3. Gurman kicks it into the corner. Left-hand 3, up, too strong. Far sideline. There's Crump doing the ball handling. Andrew Crawford into the corner for 3, and that's good.
It's a 3-point basket for Toby Wobu.
Wobu hits another 3. He's got all 6. Couple of 3s to get the scoring going for Camden Catholic.
Yeah, he's the guy. Again, we've talked about it. It's early in this game, but we mentioned him off the top, and we've talked about it in the live action here. I mean, he's sort of the guy that fills it up. They're going to rely on him to score. EHT is more of a balanced attack. The Irish are a little bit different. It's going to be a lot of Wobu. It's going to be some Kenevin. And so far, Wobu has been leading the charge.
Shot too strong. Rebound taken down one hand. Kenevin. Wobu. Scoop shot good.
Toby Wobu.
EHT's getting shots, Mike. I mean, they're getting open looks, whether it's been inside or outside. Just not too much going down right now for the Eagles.
Gurman high off the glass.
Gurman.
And that's just a senior who senses his team needs a bucket, right? That's a guy who's been through the battles, who knows that his team could use 2 points, and he goes and gets them.
Great three-point shooter from mainland, John DeRicci in the house. How about that?
They're
Got a lot of great names in here.
They're filing in here at the Seagull.
Yeah, this is one of the must-see games of this event. Dribble drive, Wobo stripped away, Gurman.
Should be noted, too, that, most of our cameras are over by our broadcast position, so you're seeing the benches and, fans on that side. The bleachers behind us over here have been pretty much packed for the last 2 games, so it's a little deceptive with some of the camera angles, but the crowd really filling in here.
And a little in the paint bucket there by Kennevan. So Kennevan's got a bucket. They lead by 6. 10-4 the score halfway through our first quarter. EHT with the ball. Gurman thought about a 3. Puts it on the floor at the elbow. At the foul line, he goes to the bucket, and he gets himself knocked to the turf.
Yeah, Elliott.
Floor, I should say.
Yeah, Elliott likes to shoot the 3, but he can put it on the floor as well. And as we have just 1 foul on each team, should be noted, Mike, neither of these teams very deep at all. Both like to really run with their starting 5 as long as they can. And so foul trouble could be an issue here today, but so far so good for both teams.
With the foul.
Personal foul number 23, Nelson
On
Vidro.
Vidro.
First. Team second.
EHT inbounds the ball, trailing by 6 and a steal. Crawford comes up with the steal. Leaves it up. Kennevan. Back to Crawford. Wobu, 3. Too strong. Gurman with the board. Gurman between the circles, uses the screen. Between the legs at the foul line. Rando. Back to Gurman. Thought about a 3. Ellis takes it up. Short shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Kennevan, and it's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Irish.
Yeah, the zone giving EHT some fits so far here in this first quarter, and now head coach Cameron Bell wants to talk about it for EHT.
And a timeout taken with 3:11 left to play here in the first quarter.
And
10-4
30-second timeouts.
is the score. EHT leads Camden Catholic here on BFA Sports, and obviously the timeout taken by EHT to kind of talk things over there.
Today's game brought to you in part by Game Changer. When you want to change the way you follow the game, score, stream, and now create your own in-game highlights with the all-new Game Changer app. Download it now at gc.com on your favorite iOS or Android device. That's Game Changer.
Out of the timeout. 10-4. EHT trails. Camden Catholic with the ball. Kennevan takes it, bounces off of a EHT defender, shot too strong, gets the board, and puts it back.
Offensive rebound and basket by Luke Kennevan.
So Kennevan has 4. Wobu has 8, and that's the scoring so far for Camden Catholic. Rando, 3 off the mark. Rebound, Camden Catholic. Kennevan gets it.
That's his game, Rando. I mean, as good a three-point shooter as Egg Harbor Township has, and obviously they'll need him to make some of those here today to win this ball game.
3 on the way. Down it goes by Crump.
Three-point basket by Bradley.
Just a dream start for the Irish. I mean, they're giving EHT fits on defense. They're hitting outside shots. And they've created some serious separation early.
Reyes uses the screen. Ellis for 3. Down it goes. So a nice catch. Calmly caught and shoot.
Yeah, Elliott, another much-needed bucket. I mean, I've said that twice now. Gurman got one earlier in the quarter, but just trying to hang around EHT as early as it's been all Irish.
They show pressure. 3 is up. It's too strong. Rebound by Rando. Gurman up the sideline. Shot short. Offensive board. Putback foul.
You can see Gurman's ability to just kind of put his head down and go, right, as we take another look here coming up. But, you know, one of those guys that can put his head down, even though he doesn't have the numbers, he's smart enough not to draw an offensive foul. Just kind of get in there, see what he can get. That time fortunate to get his own offensive rebound and end up at the free throw line. Should be noted too, Mike, I mean, Gurman is a kid who I believe started. If he didn't start, he played some serious minutes as a freshman. So he's been in this EHT lineup for a number of years. Last year came up with an injury down the stretch. You remember they lost to Mainland in the opening round of the Cal playoffs and really tried to tough it out through that game and then in the state playoffs, but just wasn't the same. But you're looking at, I think, a DJ Gurman right now who's fully healthy, and you're seeing it so far on the court.
Near steal by Gurman. He does get it. Outlet. Gurman. Coast to coast. Layup's good.
DJ Gurman.
Just so good on the finish, right? I mean, that's not an orthodox layup there. He's having to go through maybe 1-2 players near the rim, but he makes it look easy.
Pressure from the Eagles. Kennevan hits the turf. Jones shot good. So Jones just into the game and they beat the pressure.
Yeah, Mel Jones, instant offense. Little energy off the bench there, number 5.
17-10, Camden Catholic leads. Gurman, kick out, 3. In and out, no good. Rebound, Rando, kick out. Reyes, between the circles, back to Gurman. 45 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Gurman, kick out, 3 from Rando. Too strong. Kennevan with the board.
They're getting the looks, Mike. They're getting the looks. They're just not falling, and they've been falling for the most part so far for Camden Catholic.
Crump walks it up, crosses the timeline up to Wobu. Kennevan between the circles, back to Crump, over to Crawford with 22 seconds left to play here in this first quarter. 17-10, Camden Catholic leads. It's very quiet in here.
A lot of anticipation in the room here.
Cutting, Kennevan, shot good and a foul.
For Luke Kennevan,
6 points for Kennevan, and he'll get to the line.
So we take another look here. I mean, Kennevan's been overshadowed a little bit, I think it's fair to say, early in the year because Wobu's put up some terrific numbers, but Luke can get a bucket when Camden Catholic needs one too. And again, just still a sophomore. You're talking about the top 2 players on one of the top teams in South Jersey, both being sophomores. So the future and the present, very bright for head coach Matt Crawford and the Irish.
Well, backdoor cut there by Kennevan. 5 seconds. Ellis kicks it into another gear, high off the glass, too strong, no good, rebound, and that'll do it at the end of 1. Camden Catholic 20, EHT 10. It's the Seagull Classic here on BFA Live Sports.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
Possession to start the second quarter.
Second quarter about to start here at the Seagull. 20-10, Camden Catholic leads EHT as we obviously looking forward to this one here. So far, Camden Catholic has got the better of EHT, and they've done it with some high-quality offense.
High-quality offense, you know, some varying looks on defense out of the zone, in a matchup zone. I mean, EHT, you will say they've had some open shots. They just haven't knocked them down. The Irish have knocked their shots down and doubling up on the Eagles early.
Wobu out of the quarter. It's another 3. His third 3. And it gives them a 13-point lead.
Let's be honest, if Wobu's going to shoot like that, it's going to be an impossible task for EHT today. I think you got to make it more difficult, though. You got to run him off the line a little bit.
Entry pass, foul, good.
Basket for Jamil Wilkins.
Jamil Wilkins gets on the board.
Must be an interesting experience for Wilkins here today, Mike. Obviously coming back to the gym where he played his first 3 years.
Yeah, so take that right around the foul line area, put it on the floor one time, quickly got himself fouled, and now the old-fashioned three-point opportunity on the game-changer replay there. Cut the lead to 10, and he does.
Seeing C.J. Ford on the court for the first time, too. Of course, that Ford name carries a lot of weight around Holy Spirit in South Jersey.
There's Kennevan. Crawford, Kennevan turns, faces Kennevan, right-hand scoop shot, and he's fouled. And the foul looks like it will be on Ford, so they go right after the new guy.
Yeah, Ford I don't think is a natural, sort of center in that defensive look there. More of a wing, more of a shooter, but with Rando on the bench, he had to play low for that possession at least.
Kennevan at the free throw line.
Rando returns. Replacing C.J. Ford.
Rando in, Ford back out. Kennevan's second shot is good. They lead by 11, 24-13. Early stages, second quarter. Gurman. Ellis, Rando, Wilkins. Gurman catches on the right wing. Ellis turns, kicks it out, and Reyes is fouled after a couple of dribbles.
Personal fouls number 10, Toby
Eagles just looking for some answers right now offensively. It's a little bit different than the last game we called. I mean, Haddonfield really struggled against Hamilton early on. You're not necessarily there with this game, but you get the sense the Irish are going to score some points today. They already have, so you have to be able to answer on the offensive end with a little more frequency than EHT has done so far.
Foul was called there, as that shot is too strong, and then the rebound off of Crump, and it'll go back with EHT. It looked like Crawford and Crump, and it hit off of Crump's foot there.
A little miscommunication. EHT will take it there after the tough drive, tough miss by Wilkins on the inside.
Elliott inbounds, Gurman catches. Into the corner. Gurman stutter steps at the foul line, loses it on the floor, and Crump comes up with it. And we got a timeout taken by Camden Catholic, a 30-second time out there. Matt Crawford wanted to quickly, there's a little sloppiness going on here.
Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to rescue his player there from possible turnover, or just kind of saw something he wanted to talk about. But has to be overall pretty pleased with the performance of his team so far, Mike. I mean, knocking down some outside shots and really able to do things almost at will offensively in this game so far.
Yeah, EHT, DJ Gurman, 7 points for them. They're going to need a little bit more help in the scoring department.
Yeah, also timeout is as I get to my phone here. Good chance to remind you that today's game is brought to you in part by Premier Orthopedic Associates. Don't let back pain or knee strain keep you out of the game with 8 locations throughout South Jersey. Premier Orthopedic will get you off the bench and back into the action from discovery to recovery, now including physical therapy. Call or text the Premier team at 856-690-1616 for same or next day care.
Kennevan, Crump, little two-man game and a layup off the break. Kennevan really adding up here.
Yeah, this is danger time for EHT, Mike. I mean, this can really get away from them early here. And again, they continue to fire from the outside. Those shots just aren't falling.
Ellis' three's no good.
That's a
Mel
great
Jones layup.
What a pass there from Andrew Crawford. Again, a guy who's seen a lot of varsity time. Not a big scorer, but those are the kind of things he brings to the table.
Gurman, foul, bucket. Trying to keep them around as DJ Gurman, and the layup is good, and a foul. He'll get to the free throw line. He has really done a bulk of the scoring here. In fact, only 6 points have not been scored in this game for EHT by DJ Gurman.
I think, offensively, EHT is okay. I mean, maybe if you're Cameron Bell, you're seeing your team maybe shoot too many threes, and certainly it doesn't help when they're not going down. But I think the difference right now is on the defensive end. EHT just simply not defending. Camden Catholic very efficient offensively.
Pressure from the Eagles. McShane in the game for Camden Catholic. Crosses the timeline. There's a trap. Steps right through it. And up and under. McShane, welcome in.
Good patience there by McShane off the bench. Didn't get too ahead of himself. Didn't get nervous with that catch. He knew he'd have the flyby, and he waited a second and scored.
Reyes kicks it out for Ellis. Gurman catches. Elbow blows right by the defense and gets the layup.
Just so quick off of the dribble, almost impossible to stay in front of him. So whether he's going in and getting his own points or setting up a teammate, I mean, just one of the better slashers you'll find in South Jersey.
Tipped away, stolen. Gurman lays it up, and the layup is good. So Wilkins gets a deuce, and there's the quickness again of Gurman.
Yeah, and it's this pressure that's maybe changing the tide of this game a little bit, turning the Irish over a little bit.
10-point game, 30-20. Irish lead with the ball. Halfway through almost this first half. Kennevan steps through. Jones kicks it into the corner. Crump for three. Too strong. Rebound Kennevan on the offensive board. They'll get another shot at it, and they restart the offense. Crawford between the circles. 4.5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Kennevan, Jones, nearly stolen. McShane for three. Front rim no good. And 3 Eagles had a chance at it. It hits off of Andrew Crawford out of bounds. EHG getting a chance here to cut this lead back under double digits. Reyes on the left wing. Up top for Elliott. Into the corner for Gurman for three. Front rim no good. McShane with the board. Leaves it off for Crawford. Crawford gives up the dribble, and he calls timeout.
Yeah, and he was caught between the backcourt and the front court there, so an interesting spot to pick up your dribble. But again, EHT pressure forcing the issue.
Yeah, it looked like he thought he could advance that ball, and the player to pass the ball to was not really paying attention to him, so he ended up giving up the dribble there. 30-20 the score, and obviously we mentioned DJ Gurman. He is really going, but Wilkins now all of a sudden, he's got 5 points in the quarter, so they're going to need someone else to help him out here.
No doubt, Gurman has carried it offensively for EHT, but like we talked about off of the top, this is a balanced attack for the Eagles. They like to get all 5 starters involved. A couple guys a little bit cold early on in this game. Rando and Elliott have struggled a little bit from the outside, but Gurman's carrying the load right now. Wilkins has had some timely buckets, had the and one there, so EHT just trying to hang around right now. That's the problem. You got to chip away. When you get down so big so early, you can't obviously get it all back at once. And now Wobu back on the floor for the Irish.
And a steal. Jumping in the passing lane is Elliott, and here comes that EHT defense. They've gotten a couple of steals. Can they get the points to go with these turnovers? So Elliott jumps in the pass lane. Reyes picks up the ball. He's got it. Into the game for EHT. And a turnover back the other way is Jaden Reyes into the game for the first time for EHT.
So a couple of Reyeses on the floor now. Jaden, a sophomore. Again, not a deep bench for Cameron Bell, but trying to find maybe 1 or 2 guys off that bench that could provide a spark here today.
Crump, ball fake, steps inside the three-point circle, no good. Elliott, rebound. Here's Reyes. Reyes crosses over, loses the handle, kicks off of Jones's foot, and here come a couple more subs, Rando and Salisbury.
Rando and Jake Salisbury in the lineup for Upper Township.
So Salisbury makes his first appearance. And Rando back in. Into the corner, Salisbury. Shot blocked. Gurman punches it back out. Gurman in the corner. Reyes for three. And Reyes picks it up. And he travels.
Traveling violation, turnover to Camden Catholic.
Yeah, Wilkins not necessarily a dead-eye three-point shooter. I think obviously you have the green light if you're that wide open, but just the shot's just not falling on the outside right now for Egg Harbor Township.
It's J. Nelly Relis and J. Dean Reyes, who are in for EHC right now. Salisbury with a near steal. Down for McShane. He powers his way up, and it's blocked from the backside by Reyes. Or, excuse me, Wilkins. Wilkins at the foul line. Kick out. Rando, 3. Rattles in and out, no good. And Gurman gets the offensive board, and he throws it up and then comes crashing down to the floor.
Yeah, hold your breath time if you're Egg Harbor Township fans right now. It looks like Gurman's going to be able to pop up with some help from his teammates. He just goes hard all the time. You know, as we take another look here, I mean, he doesn't take a possession off offensively or defensively. As Rando can't buy one from distance right now. That one's about halfway down before it rims out.
DJ Gurman at the line.
Gurman got the rebound in midair and just kind of threw it back up towards the rim before crashing back down.
Yeah, you get the sense Gurman is always kind of in a hurry, and I don't say that as a bad thing, but he just has that top-end speed. He just goes, right?
And he makes the free throw. Cuts the lead to 9. Ford in. Gurman going to take a seat after crashing to the floor. 30-21, 9-point game. Camden Catholic with the lead in the ball. Kennevan, little 8-foot jumper off the back of the iron, no good. McShane gets the board. Well, he's giving him a nice little run here.
Grabs some boards. He has a bucket.
McShane too strong on the shot put. Here comes Salisbury. Salisbury to Reyes. Wilkins spins, bounce pass, 3. Too strong for Ford in the corner.
I'm interested to see what the halftime stats are when we get them, Mike, but it's been futile from distance for Egg Harbor Township.
Kennevan, elbow jumper, no good. Salisbury with a rebound.
Good sign. Looks like Gurman's getting set to check back in at the next stoppage. And another walk here.
Traveling violation. Turner of the Camden Catholic.
Reyes takes steps. Gurman does jump back in. Salisbury takes a seat.
Replacing Salisbury.
Salisbury with a couple of rebounds and some brief minutes there.
Camden Catholic.
Minute and a half left to play here in the half. Kennevan, Crump, 3. Way downtown, no good. Rebound, though. Kennevan, little outside, Wobu. Jones, Kennevan, 3 in the corner, short. Rebound, tipped back up, taken down finally by Gurman, and a foul back there on Kennevan. So,
yeah, and that'll send EHE to the free throw line.
Right, we'll walk the floor
Camden
here.
Catholic personal foul number 12, Luke Kennevan.
So
His
Kennevan,
second, team's 8th. McShane returns for the Irish.
Yeah, it was a 10-point game after 1, Mike. So, you know, Egg Harbor Township has outscored the Irish by a point to this point in the period. But when you're down 10, you'd like to make up a little bit more of that before halftime. See if EHT can manage to maybe cut it to 6 or 5 going in.
free throws long. Rebound taken by Crawford. Coming up on a minute to play here in the half. 9-point game. Can they push the lead back to double digits? Crump, Kennevan catches back to Crawford. EHT kind of bouncing around here. Looking for it's a trap and a steal. Near steal there.
Yeah, the EHT using that 1-3-1 we saw from the Haddonfield game at times. I think the Irish would be content to hold for one here if they're able to.
Crump near steal. Something you always got to worry about with EHT's defense. If you're patient enough, you'll get that. Jones
the assist.
Jones has 6 points by just kind of hanging around back on the baseline.
And the right play from Kennevan, the catch in the post there. And look, you got that guy streaking along the baseline. You give it to him. And you're right, Jones with a nice spark off the bench today.
32-21. Final possession for EHT before the half here. Gurman between the circles. We'll see if he takes the last shot. Gets a screen into the corner. 3-ball up and in and out. No good. Rando can't get it to fall. Ball's loose on the floor. Camden Catholic gets it off. Do they get the shot off? No. It is waved off. And that is how we'll go to halftime with the score. Camden Catholic 32 and Egg Harbor Township 21 here at the Seagull Classic on BFA Sports. And Mike, obviously, EHT is going to have to find some more score. I mean, Gurman's come to play offensively, but other than him, they have a three-pointer from Elliott and then 2 field goals from Wilkins.
Ice cold from the outside EHT. Credit Camden Catholic for staying in that zone. I mean, EHT isn't shooting the Irish out of it. And then offensively, Camden Catholic has been so efficient, whether it's outside, whether it's inside. It's been obviously Wobu and Kenevin, and then some big minutes off the bench from Jones, too. So a nice balanced effort from the Irish as well.
So by not shooting well and being down by 11, is Campbell happy or is he not happy with his team in the first half?
Look, they are who they are. I mean, you got to make shots to win basketball games, right? If a team's going to play zone, you got to hit some shots to win that game. And if you don't, you can't win that game. So I think you don't change too much for EHT. I think the change has to be defensively. You got to clamp down a little bit, giving up too much easy stuff, too many open looks for the Irish.
32-21 is our score here at halftime on BFA Sports here at the 2023 Seagull Classic. We'll have the second half for you coming up next here on BFA Live Sports.
As I became an orthopedic surgeon over the last 25 years, I discovered something interesting. Our female athletes would have many more ACL injuries than our male athletes. These were discovered first when the NCAA, as well as the female basketball players in the pros, were watched when they would land after getting rebounds. When they would land with their legs more knock-kneed, while the male athletes would land with their legs more separated, a much safer way to land when you're protecting your ACL and trying to prevent anterior knee pain. Let's take a look at our athlete and see if she has any of these issues going on with her today. Our female athletes tended to land with their legs more knock-kneed. This knock-kneed landing tended to place more shearing stresses across the anterior kneecap, as well as, more importantly, their ACL. Landing with the knees coming in is very dangerous for their ACL and causing anterior knee pain. Landing with the knees in a more separated position is a much safer way of landing, and they can practice this by jumping off of boxes and landing in a much safer position. This will protect your female and male athletes from injuries. Let's try that with the landing in a better separated position this time. Perfect. Again. Again. Perfect. We laid our athlete back and we give them a little stretchy band. These are exercise bands that can be obtained either online or at your physical therapist shop, and you can come and see us for picking them up as well. This band is tied and they come in different colors which have different strengths. It's tied right around the knees, and then we have the athlete push apart against the resistance of the band. You're going to have them do several of these, 3 sets doing almost 20 of them. Go ahead and do those. Perfect. You're doing it nice and controlled, and what you're strengthening is the muscles around the hip. We're going to show you one more of these different exercises while doing it standing. The next exercise to build strength in both the muscles of the hip as well as the muscles of the vastus medialis is this mini squats. Your athlete is going to stand with the band around their knees, and they're going to squat down to about 45 degrees. And then by doing that, you can even toss a ball back and forth to them where they're going to push against the resistance of the band. Go ahead and do a couple of those. Perfect. And by doing that, you're going to build the strength in both the muscles around the knee as well as the muscles of the hip. This is a perfect exercise, and we're going to show you one more modification of this that really helps build strength in the hips. Now there's lateral strides with the band around their legs. These are further going to build strength in the muscles of the hip as well as the muscles of the knee. As they're striding, they're getting down in a small squat and going sideways. Again, you can add in increased dexterity by passing the ball back and forth to your athlete while they're doing it. And remember, these exercises are good both for your female and your male athlete. I suggest you videotape your athlete landing, focusing at the knee, so you can give them cues as whether or not they're landing in a safe position. Have them do it multiple times. And by doing the strengthening exercises and the muscle memory will build that they will land in a much safer position. And you guys won't have to see me to do your ACL reconstructions. Good luck and keep those exercises going.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
This ain't a game, I came with the game. Look how we run it. The hustle and pain is just not the same. I came from the gutter. Ayy, whole team limitless. Never settle, we above. Whole crowd showing love. Girls, we up. We on the up. Team going up. We run it up. We on the up. Up. We on the up. We on the up. Team going up. We run it up. Team going up. We on the up. We on the
All right, welcome back here to the Seagull Classic. About to start the second half. Mike Gill and Mike Frankel. And, Mike, we got a 32-21 game, and you're saying, all right, Camden Catholic's got control. They're up 11. If we're taking a look at the numbers in this one, what's the number that stands out at why we're at an 11-point game?
Look, so many times we sit over here and we overanalyze. There's really not much to overanalyze here. If you don't make shots, you really can't win a basketball game. So Camden Catholic is 4 for 11 for 3. EHT is 1 for 11 for 3. Math wasn't my major, but that's 9 points right there. It's an 11-point deficit. So that's really the difference right now. Camden Catholic's making shots. They're also out-rebounding EHT a little bit, but EHT has to find someone who can hit a couple threes here and get them back in the game.
Yeah, you look at it, Camden Catholic shooting 46% from the field, and EHT just 30%. So they're just not shooting the ball that well yet. They're kind of still in this game. They got to feel like, hey, if we can just get a couple shots to fall, we can get ourselves back in this game.
Here's the thing. I mean, they're not getting tough looks or forced looks. They're missing open shots, especially from the outside. So if you're at Harbor Township, that's encouraging because at least you're getting good looks, right? Some of those should start to fall at some point. And I think if you're Camden Catholic, you just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, unless EHT shoots you out of that zone, you stay in it. You keep forcing those outside shots. And then offensively, the Irish have been so efficient. You mentioned the field goal percentage there, but, it's the big two of Wobu and Kennevan, and a nice boost off of the bench from Jones as well, and also some great minutes from McShane. So they've gotten contributions from the two guys we knew they'd get contributions from, but they've also gotten some nice contributions from some other pieces we didn't necessarily highlight off the top.
Wobu with 11 points, Kennevan with 10. They lead the scores for Camden Catholic. 13 for Gurman. He leads all scores, and then just 5 for Wilkins. So not getting that secondary score, and Camden Catholic does have that secondary score. They also got 6 from Mel Jones off the bench, 7 assists from Andrew Crawford. So they are having more of a team impact so far than the Eagles are.
Yeah, and I think if you ask Campbell, he's going to let you know that this isn't a team built for one guy to carry them. I mean, Gurman is keeping them in the game right now, but I think this is a team that's at its best when not all 5 guys reach double figures, but when they have at least 2-3 guys in double digits, everyone contributing. Unfortunately for EHT right now, a couple of guys just a little bit cold from the floor.
DJ Gurman inbounds the basketball for EHT as we start things off. They wear white, moving left to right here on BFA Live Sports on this Saturday afternoon. Long day of basketball today. 8 games tomorrow as well. As we start things off in this second half, EHT trails 32-21 with the ball. Opening third quarter. 3, Rando, short. He's 0 for 5 from three-point range.
Again, but what do you do, though? Shoot or shoot, right? And the zone's there, and the shot's open, and you just have to keep shooting.
Near steal by Gurman. Crump to the bucket. Yeah, Rando, you could see it in his face. He just kind of has that frustration of, man, I just can't get one to go. Rando also the quarterback of the football team. Scoop shot and a layup. So a tough shot there by Reyes.
J-Nelly Reyes.
And that's his first bucket of the day.
Yeah, this is the part of the game that I think, obviously you make shots, but this has to get better for EHT defense if the Eagles want to get back in this game.
Wobu. Short. Here comes EHT. Got to stop. Got to get points on the other end, though. Wilkins back up top. Reyes between the circles. Into the corner. Gurman layup good. That's too easy.
Yeah, that's a spot he's comfortable driving from. I mean, you don't see a lot of penetration from the corner, but as soon as he got that pass over there, he knew exactly what he wanted to do with it.
They beat the pressure. Wobu, top of the key, leaves it for Crump. Crump dribbles inside the three-point lane. Kick out for Wobu with a 3.
Look, I know you're playing this trapping defense and you're trying to speed him up, but, someone has to be on Wobu. He's just been too hot to leave open, even in that kind of defensive situation. He needs someone just kind of tracking him in that.
Reyes, dribble drive down the lane. Shot puts it up, and he's fouled.
And again, that's easier said than done because you're scrambling. When a team breaks pressure, then you're kind of scrambling to match up and so on and so forth. But, you just can't leave Wobu open. He was too good from out there in that first half.
Yeah, and EHT showing that pressure. Camden Catholic's done a good job with it, and it's getting them open looks.
Yeah, you say this about the Irish. They don't have a ton of size, but they do have a lot of handle. I mean, they have 2 guys on the floor. And Crump can get some buckets, maybe more than Crawford. But those 2 guys, their primary job is to handle the basketball and play defense, right? So, they have guys that can handle and break pressure, and that's what they're doing right now to Egg Harbor Township.
10-point lead after the pair of free throws by EHT. Reyes gets the pair. They trail 37-27. Camden Catholic with the ball, breaks the pressure, crosses the timeline. Jones gets it back to Crawford. They hand it off for Crump. Man-to-man defense by EHT. Cutting down low and a backdoor cut. Kennevan caught them napping.
Almost lulling EHT to sleep a little bit on that possession, the Irish. Little dribble handoff outside. Kennevan able to sneak open down low and get the easy 2.
Cutting Reyes. It's fouled. Kennevan poked from the backside.
It's the right call there. Kennevan not thrilled with it, but he kind of came through the player to try to get the ball.
Personal foul number 12, Luke Kenneman is third.
Something to keep an eye on there, too, as we hear the voice of Dennis Smith in the gym right now. Third foul on Luke, so a little bit of foul trouble creeping in here as we approach 3 minutes gone by in the third.
Gurman, step back three, off the back iron, no good. Crawford with the rebound, in transition. He's looking for Wobu, who wasn't ready for it. Nice little two-man game there, and Crump.
How pretty was that? I mean, you know, you draw up a play like that, that's executed to perfection right there for head coach Matt Crawford and the Irish.
Yeah, the pass to the elbow and then the bounce pass to the running Crump and a quick layup, 41-27. Rando for three, too strong. Rebound, outlet, Kenneman shields, layup, good.
Crawford wanting a foul there too, but credit Kenneman for being able to finish and also a little bit of contact down low. And now a timeout.
Campbell calls timeout. 43-27. Camden Catholic starting to pull away as we are in the third quarter with 4:14 left here on BFA Sports.
Today's game brought to you in part by RK Auto Group in Vineland. Make a fast break with a short drive to RK Auto Group in Vineland. Jim Gee and his championship team will make you feel like an MVP when buying your new Chevrolet, Kia, or Subaru, because RK does it right. That's RK Auto Group in Vineland. Visit them online at rkautogroup.com. And today's game also brought to you by our good friend Matt Ulmer and Ulmer's Appliance Service, servicing all of your appliance needs. And once again, that's Ulmer's Appliance Service.
43-27. 4:14 left to play third quarter. Camden Catholic starting to pull away a little bit here as, boy, they are doing a good job of beating the pressure and then getting good looks. And then when they get into their half-court sets, Mike, very patient and getting easy buckets.
Just smooth so far, I think is my best way I can describe it for Camden Catholic. They just look comfortable, and, you know, making early shots helps, and they've been front-running this entire game. And for EHT, it's different, right? You've been trailing basically the entire game, and the shots still aren't falling. So at this point, it's starting to truly slip away here. Reyes,
jab step, dribbles. Elliott took a step. Pivot foot came up, and they turned it over. Not what you want out of a timeout.
Not at all.
Campbell taking over this EHT program. They were the #1 seed in the Cape Atlantic League tournament last year. They were knocked off by Mainland, upset in the first round in that game. And that was a game they just never seemed like they were in that game. They just could not get it going in that game. And, of course, Mainland went on and ended up winning the tournament.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit in the first half as Wobu was on the drive now.
Yeah, Wobu shot short, rebound taken down by Reyes.
Yeah, Gurman was hurt in that game and tried to play through it, so EH2 was basically playing, 4-on-5. Gurman really couldn't do much.
Gurman in the corner, baseline, leaves it off, and a nice little dump down for a deuce there by Wilkins. Here's the pressure from EHT. Cutting, Kenneman, foul, good.
You just have to say, the Camden Catholic's just breaking the pressure with ease, Mike. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but it's just too easy. I don't know if you change to a different type of press, but this is just a look with this press that's not bothering the Irish whatsoever.
The personal foul was on Wilkins, his first, team second.
Ford into the game. Looks like they're going to try to get a little bit more shooting. Because now you got to start. You talk about the three-point disparity in this game. You've got to start to have some of those start connecting.
Yeah, good offense, defense here as they're able to get Kenneman to the bench with those 3 fouls. See if they can keep him over there maybe for some extended time until the 4th to keep him with those 3 heading into the final frame.
46-29, Camden Catholic starting to pull away. Elliott puts the ball behind the back. Inside the 3-point circle, no good. Rebound, McShane. Not a high percentage shot.
It's not. That's a tough shot. I mean, we talked about it coming out of the half. I mean, they've missed open looks, but they've forced a couple in this quarter. Just shots off the dribble, just tough contested shots. Not saying that a lot of these EHT players can't hit those, but when you're trying to make up a deficit, maybe not the best idea.
46-29, Camden Catholic. Crawford cutting backdoor. His first bucket of the day gives him a 19-point lead.
And Wobu with the dime. Great feed on the backdoor cut.
Crossing over, German off the foot. Jones comes up with the roll. And then we got a travel in transition as Crawford took a couple steps before he delivered the pass. 48-29, 2:25 left to play in the third. Camden Catholic having a quarter.
Check out Reyes into the lineup for Egg Harbor Township, replacing Wilkins.
16-8 here in this third quarter for Camden Catholic. They have extended the lead to 19. Gurman, wing, Ford for three. Back iron, no good. They brought Ford in to try to get some more diverse shooting out there, but he could not get that to fall on the look. Crump coming up on 2 minutes to play here in the third. Crawford. Crump catches between the circles. Wobu, he's been quiet in this quarter. He hit a three, and that's it. Crawford on the wing. Wobu nearly lost it. It's Reyes with the quick hands. Crawford, underhand pass to Crump. Crump cut off nicely by Gurman. Camden Catholic, a little pressure on the perimeter here by EHC, and Camden Catholic is not backing away. Crawford gets by his man, left-hand layup, but he's fouled. So that is a very tough possession. EHT is just D'ing, and then a lane to the basket there.
It just comes down to the handle. Camden Catholic on that particular possession has three really good ball handlers on the floor. And guess who the three guys are that touch the ball in that possession? Those three guys. So they're able to take the pressure. They're able to get some easy looks from the free throw line.
Crawford at the free throw line. And he makes good on his first. He's got three in the quarter. Gives him a 20-point advantage with 1:09 left to play here in the third quarter. Camden Catholic has pulled away in this third quarter. It was an 11-point game at the half. It's now a 21-point game after the pair of free throws. Gurman spins at the foul line, cut off. Elliott for three. Front rim's no good in the rebound. One and done for the Eagles. Wobu nearly loses it. The ball keeps rolling right back to him, though. The poke is there, but then they cannot come up with the steal. 50-29, the foul on Reyes.
Yeah, you're starting to see it on the faces of some of these EHT players, too. Just, it's been a frustrating afternoon to this point, and the body language is starting to show it.
Gurman with the steal, and then he steps. Oop, they're saying he threw it in too early.
That kind of day for the Eagles, right?
That kind of day. You get a steal, looks like a layup. Crawford inbounds the ball, gets it all the way back to Wobu.
One of the officials having a little conversation with a fan mid-play.
A little bit I've ever actually
I don't think we're allowed to repeat
heard that before. Up top, Crump. And Camden Catholic is content running this little three-man weave all day.
Yeah.
10 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and there to get their look. Wobu.
Perfect execution, right? Bleed all the time off the clock.
And a steal.
At the end of three.
At the end of three. The three-man weave, the layup by Wobu. Extends the lead, 52-29. All Camden Catholic here on BFA Sports.
Yeah, cause we on the up. Work, ayy, cause we run it up. Work, this ain't a game, I came with the game. Look how we run it. The hustle and pain is just not the same. I came from the gutter, ayy. Whole team limitless. Never settle, we above. Whole crowd showing love. Cause we up, we on the up. Team going up, we run it up. We on the up, up. We on the up, we on the up. Team going up, we run it up. Team going up, we on the up, we on the
Start of the fourth quarter, 52-29, Camden Catholic leading EHT. Do the Eagles have one more push left in them here? It was a dominant third quarter by the Irish. Mike Gill, Mike Frankel set to bring you the final 8 minutes here in game number 4 of the Seagull Classic for this Saturday slate. 7 games in all today, 8 more tomorrow. Got a foul on Reyes.
Yeah, 2 things about the end of that third quarter, Mike. One, I mean, again, excellent efficiency, excellent execution for Camden Catholic, bleeding the clock and then getting open looks. And also, they were able to keep Kennevan on the bench with those 3 fouls. So mission accomplished there as well as he comes right back in and gives you some offense.
Kennevan catches on the block, on the inbounds play, and an easy layup. You know, this is a lot of just execution, too. I mean, you 3-man weave, that's not something that every team can just accomplish. You got to have guys who know how to handle the ball and know when to get rid of it. And there's a lot of pressure coming from EHT, and they are handling it.
It's just been a snowball effect. It's been the same things we've seen all game, and it's just gotten bigger and more obvious and more pronounced. It's the better execution from the Irish. It's the poor shooting from EHT. And both have gotten better or worse, however you want to phrase it, but it's just been the same story throughout.
Gurman for 3, good.
3-point basket by DJ.
And Gurman came to play. I mean, he has certainly done his part trying to keep EHT around. 3 cuts it to 22. And Wobu, shot blocked away by Ford. Gurman off the block. Here comes EHT in transition. And a walk. Every time they seem to try to get a little something like that happens.
A lot of self-inflicted wounds, if you will, for EHT. You just wonder. I mean, look, that run's going to have to come early in this quarter, or this is going to be pretty much a garbage time game sooner rather than later.
Crawford, Crump. Crawford, catch, layup, foul.
Crawford's so smart, too. I mean, you know, the Irish don't get a ton of points from him. They don't need a ton of points from him, but every time he dives to the bucket, slices to the bucket, he's looking for that contact, Mike. He knows where the players are. He's a very smart high school basketball player that can feel that contact and create opportunities from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's got 4 points in the game, 2 from the free throw line and a field goal. And yet you feel that he has controlled the pace of how this game and style that it has gone.
Yeah, well, he's got to be double digits in assists. You know, he's got a couple steals to his name and just great ball handling, right? You call that a great floor game, you know, at the high school level. He kind of mans the floor exceptionally well.
1 of 2 from the stripe. Gurman spins, stripped away, taken by Crump. Yeah, Crawford is one of 4 Crawfords on this roster. 3 coaches and Andrew.
Family affair at Camden Catholic, no doubt.
Up and under. Kennevan, Jones. Jones swings it. Reverses the court. Crump trying to get by Gurman. and loses the handle. Gurman with the steal, comes up with it, crosses the timeline, spins, middle of the lane. He loses the handle, then picks it back up. Shot put up there, no good. Kennevan board.
I don't think Gurman knew exactly where he was. He turned so quickly, it almost went in, but it would have been impossible for him to know exactly where he was when he grabbed that ball and went right up.
55-32, Camden Catholic. About 5.5 minutes to play here in the fourth. Crawford shot, and he's bodied. So Rando tried to come over, and he was a step late.
Yeah, we'll take another look here on the drive from Andrew Crawford. Unless something changes, Mike, I mean, this is going to be a lopsided loss for EHT, and all the credit in the world to Camden Catholic for coming to a showcase event here, Seagull Classic, and really dominating. This was expected to be, one of the marquee games, if not the day of the weekend, and it really hasn't lived up to the hype. But if this holds, it's kind of a reset moment for EHT. Look, they're off to an 8-1 start, but I think this sort of exposed a couple issues with this team today. And the good news for EHT is it's early in the season. This is a team, I believe, that lost only 2 games. That's not right. 2 or 3, maybe 4. They didn't have a lot of losses last year, right? A couple in the regular season and then one in the playoffs. So if you want to learn a lesson, you want it to be early in the year and not late.
Yeah, they'll play Williamstown on Monday and then St. Joe's of Hamilton. Then they're back here against Holy Spirit. And they've got, obviously, that matchup with Middle coming up. They've got St. Augustine and Cherokee. So they've got a tough schedule moving forward here, does the Silver Eagles. As that 3 is off the mark, and they just have not had that 3 ball falling today. No,
and now it's I see a steal here, but might be too little, too late.
Gurman, layup. So Gurman has scored, no question about it, and a timeout taken by EHT, 57-34. As Camden Catholic has.
Taken by Carmen Township. It's a full timeout.
Good chance to remind you, game brought to you in part by the Delaware Blue Coats. See the future of the Sixers today in Wilmington. The Delaware Blue Coats of the NBA G League have been the home of your favorite Sixers like Paul Reed for years. Make the fast break to bluecoats.team to get your coats on with lower level seats for just $14. That's the Delaware Blue Coats.
And then the final game of the night will be St. Joseph's Academy against
Sixers with a tough loss. Speaking of tough losses last night.
Yeah, they've been playing really well. That was not, especially a home game like that. Yeah, talking about shooting the lights out. Zach Levine last night. My God, he was on fire. He, I think, had 9 threes in the game last night. That's about what EHT is lacking right now. They just have not been able to hit the 3, man.
Opposite end of the spectrum. And again, EHT was coming off a tough win over Middle. Middle beating Bishop Eustis today. So that win looks even better for EHT, but you know as well as I do, high school sports, high school basketball, Kennevan on the break here. It's game to game, right? Talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids.
And that's tough. You come out on the timeout there, and a baseball pass just absolutely beats the entire team down the court. It's just kind of indicative of how this game has kind of gone today. EHT had pressure set up there. Gurman 3, front rim no good. Outlet pass, Wobu. I mean, EHT setting up pressure, and you got one guy just absolutely take it off down the other way and gets an easy layup. Steal. Gurman accelerates. Left-hand scoop shot good. And a off.
Wow. Cam Bell can't believe that. Let's take another look here. I mean, Crawford was there. It's tough. Block charge in high school basketball. We could we could do a 4-part series on this and still
Tim Gallagher's here.
Still wouldn't figure it out.
On that one, Gallagher? I think I saw him walking around. Wobu. I mean, anybody in the crowd who thinks that was an obvious one, we just saw the slow-mo.
Yeah, it's the toughest call, maybe in all of high school sports, certainly in basketball. It's not even really an issue just with high school. I mean, you see it at the college level. You don't see it so much in the pros because they just don't take charges like that there, and nor should they. But
Andrew Crawford at the line for the Irish, shooting 1 of 1.
There's Crawford back at the free throw line. Made a pair in this quarter so far. His 3rd free throw of the quarter, 5 in all, so he's got 5 of his 7
Mel
points.
Jones checks in for Camden Catholic, replacing Luke Kennevan.
Kennevan's going to take a seat. Mel Jones back in the game. He's given him 6 points in the first half. off the bench today. Second free throw is good. 61-34, all Camden Catholic. I mean, it was an 11-point game at half, and it has just expanded from that point. Gurman spins, stripped away, picks it up, and then a nice little pass entry, and Reyes with a layup.
The assist from Gurman.
And Gurman, gets the steal and then the bucket. And a foul on Reyes. So just halfway through this fourth quarter now, I think EHT 61-38 finally had something going their way.
Yeah, now the foul, and it's just, the margin here, Mike. I mean, I know EHT wants to battle here for maybe another minute or so, but this doesn't feel like a game where you need to be fouling a whole lot down the stretch. This is pretty decided.
Wobu at the line. 16 points in the game. And he had 11 of the 16 in that first half. He really got them going early in this game, hit a couple of threes, and kind of set the tone.
Yeah, it was impossible to know at the time, but those two early threes, I mean, that was the game, right? Camden Catholic establishes that early lead, and the Irish never look back.
Wobu out, Kennevan back in. So EHT, as we mentioned, got their slate coming up. Williamstown, St. Joe, Holy Spirit, West Hampton Tech, Wildwood Catholic, Homedale, Ocean City, Middle, St. Augustine, Cherokee, and St. Joe. That's how they'll close out their season.
Yeah, certainly a long road ahead, but as you alluded to a little bit earlier in the broadcast, the season's condensed sort of for the casual high school basketball fan out there who doesn't know the changes. I mean,
yeah, January 31st is the last day, so all those games will be played between now and January 31st.
Yeah, I mean, the playoffs are starting earlier. I mean, obviously a lot of people know the Tournament of Champions is gone, so the end of the season is earlier. Everything's moved up and condensed. And look, you can talk to a lot of high school basketball coaches and players, and they'll give you their opinions on that. I think it's pretty well known that I think a lot of people in the basketball community feel like the schedule's getting squeezed for football. It's great for high school football, but now you're here and things kind of get condensed, and we'll see how that goes. But as Gurman continues to play hard.
And a timeout taken by Campbell as they have cut this back to 22.
Second timeout taken by Garber Township.
Now, you mentioned in the first game about the new Cal tournament. Everybody's in. How exactly is that working? How is the schedule for that? How does that kind of work out?
Yeah, you got to start it earlier. I mean, teams can opt out, right? So if there are a couple teams out there that really feel like they'd be better off just playing out the string, they don't have to take part. So depending on how many teams opt in, you might see a couple teams at the top with a first-round bye, or maybe a double bye situation if that calls for that. But really, it's just going to be sort of a bigger tournament.
An open
right?
Invitational.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because one of the, we would be doing something like this, and you'd be trying to figure out who those 8 teams would be.
Yeah, so that's why I said, earlier, maybe in the last broadcast even, it's not so much who's going to make it this year, it's who's a serious contender, right? But I think what it does do, Mike, is, a first-round game, with 2 teams that maybe, you don't expect them to make deep runs, but that's a Cal playoff game. So it just creates a little bit more buzz there. Look, the Shore Conference has done it for years. I've had a chance to cover some of those games, both early on in the tournament and the final. Obviously, a lot of anticipation for the final. But even early on in that tournament, a couple of teams that maybe that's their quote-unquote Super Bowl, it's a big deal to win a tournament game, albeit in the initial round or preliminary round, whatever you want to call it. But, you look at the team here, EHT, they're not going to be happy just to be there and win a game. This is a team built, a team that wants to make a deep run and win.
And, Mike, we saw them last year. They were the 1 seed, and they lost to the 8 seed. So in this kind of new situation, you probably won't get a 1-8 matchup.
Right. Well, not until the quarterfinals, but you're right. I mean, and look, the other side of this, we've been talking a lot about the Cal tournament. There's a new Camden County tournament that obviously the Irish will likely be a part of, and that's a little bit different animal because you have to deal with Camden in that tournament, right? And that is the one loss on Camden Catholic's record. So, you don't want to say that the Irish can't win that. Anything could happen. But, it's a tournament that they want to make some noise in, maybe potentially make a run to the final, get another crack at Camden. Another nice drive there by Crawford.
And we'll see Camden Eastside tomorrow here on the Game Changer replay real quick. He just kind of a little up and under, a little English.
Yeah,
off the glass, gets it to go.
Yeah, so look, Camden Catholic, I mean, they'll have to face Camden once more during the regular season, and then you could see a matchup down the line in that Camden County tournament, but that's going to be a nice little, tournament before the tournament, if you will, for Camden Catholic.
Yeah, Camden East Side is here tomorrow, too. There's another, obviously, tough team in that area. And,
I'm all for, these conference county league tournaments. It was just, for years and years and years, especially down here, it was just the Cal championship game, right? And then it became the Cal tournament. Then we saw the Tri-County jump in. And that was a nice event to have, especially in that COVID year. They're the only league that had a tournament that year. And now you have the Camden County tournament. There's a lot of county tournaments up north, not so many in South Jersey, but it's good to see more popping up. And the tournaments that do exist, it's nice to see them expand.
Ball out of bounds. Irish possession.
Ball out of bounds.
Grace the Wilkins return.
Couple changes now for Camden Catholic, because it looks like they are going to empty their bench a little bit here. You see Jake Miller into the game.
And Jake Miller in the lineup for Camden Catholic, replacing Andrew Crawford.
This game is just not what I thought it would be, not what I think a lot of people in this gym thought it would be, but you know who's responsible for that? Camden Catholic. The Irish have played outstanding here today. And this is a signature win for them early in the season, no doubt. I mean, you look at that 6-1 record, and they've had some nice wins on there, but to do it against a really quality opponent in EHT who came in at 8-1, in this showcase event, this is a big one for the Irish, no doubt, in the way they did it, Mike.
There's Grant Leahy into the game as well. Mel Jones stays out there. McShane. Gurman blocked away by McShane, and the layup is short, no good. Elliott down low. Gurman.
DJ Gurman.
Gurman,
The assist from Elliott.
13 points in this quarter. He's got 13 of their 15 in the quarter.
I think, and I'm sure Campbell is thinking about this, but I think you got to start making moves to get him out of this game at this point. I mean, you love the way he's playing. He plays hard to the end, but this is an unwinnable game at this juncture, and you're going to need him for some big games down the stretch.
Elliott with a layup and a timeout taken, as it's 67-46. EHT trails in the bucket.
Taken by Egg Harbor Township, and that's their last timeout.
And the last timeout taken by Campbell and EHT, as it's been all Irish, 67-46 with 1:42 left to play here in this basketball game at the Seagull Classic.
Today's game brought to you in part by RK Auto Group of Vineland. Make a fast break with a short drive to RK Auto Group in Vineland. Jim G and his championship team will make you feel like an MVP when you're buying your new Chevrolet, Kia, or Subaru, because RK does it right. Visit them online at rkautogroup.com.
I think 28 points unofficially, 28 of the 46 for DJ Gurman. So obviously the 28 says, hey, he brought it and had a big game today, but just did not have a lot of help today as the shots just were not falling.
Be a nice ride back up to Cherry Hill for the Irish. It's a little bit of a hike to get down here, a solid hour or so.
Steal, layup, 30 for
DJ
Gurman.
Gurman, the assist from
We got
Wilkins.
30 of the 48 unofficially. And the layup is going to be good by Miller. Oh, just too strong by Miller. Had a good look. It would be interesting. You talk about a county tournament. You have something like a Cape May County tournament down there where they just love their basketball.
Right.
Middle Township is a team this year that has, after a couple of years where they've kind of been in the middle of the road here, I would imagine they might say that, hey, them and Lower. Lower's having a solid year. They're going to see them next year.
Yeah, look, the county tournaments up north work because the counties are more populated, right? There's more schools in the county. I think, the Cal, for all intents and purposes, the Cal is the county tournament.
Sure.
For the Atlantic County, Cape May County.
Well, I'm
Cumberland
just
County
bringing
area.
it up because we know Cape May County is a basketball county more so maybe than Atlantic County would be. And, all down there you've got Wildwood Catholic, Lower, Middle, Cape May Tech, Ocean City. I think they all would say we're the best team in that county.
Yeah. And, there's, I think certainly in the southern Cape May County area, there's sort of an unofficial championship down that way. But you're right. It's nice to see the tournaments. It's nice to see, because for years and years we've had these showcase events. And it's only in recent years that we've had the tournaments at the end of the season, but before the state playoffs, right? And I think if you talk to most coaches, there's nothing that gets you more prepared for the state playoffs than a county or a league tournament, right? It's, you know, it's it's a great warm-up. You don't necessarily call it a warm-up. I mean, you know, there's a trophy at the end, but look, it's not the end-all be-all. If you lose, guess what? You still get to go to the state tournament. That's where it really counts.
Under a minute, 67-50. Bucket there by Reyes.
It's interesting. I mean, the starters, for the most part, are still on the floor for EHT. I don't know. I never know what the unwritten rules are for a game like this. I mean, Camden Catholic basically took the foot off the gas a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, is Cam Bell inclined to surrender at that point? I guess you don't have to. You don't want to try to play it out with your guys. Maybe he's looking for something heading into the next game here. But what you really have here is EHT starters playing against the second unit for the Irish, and that's why this game is at least going to look a little closer than it was.
Reyes at the line. No good. McShane with the board. You know, McShane gave them a nice little run there in the third quarter, by the way.
He did. He had some big minutes.
Miller to Jones, and a 10-second violation.
10-second violation.
I'm looking over at Matt Crawford, and he doesn't seem thrilled.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, it's you. I mean, you're a big baseball guy. You talk about some unwritten rules, and I don't know. Is this sort of like bunting down late? Or
right.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. Look, I mean, it's high school kids. Maybe there's a chance to learn from this situation, and you want to leave your guys into the end and maybe create some momentum for the next game. Who knows? But I do know that the final score is not going to be indicative of what this game was.
67-54, right. And, you know, the score is still not particularly close.
No, but a lot closer than it would have been.
Reyes is fouled out.
But, yeah, you're right. I mean, this deficit was almost at 30 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
EHT is going to get Justin Moore off the bench.
Mel Jones at the line.
And Noah Holiday. So a couple of guys will get a couple of seconds here at the end of this game
Justin Moore,
for
Noah Holiday
EHT.
in the lineup, Frank Harper Township, replacing Gurman.
Gurman takes a seat with just a monster scoring day. Jones gets that to go.
Yeah, he's one of those kids too, Mike. I think, you know, he'd trade in every single one of those points for a win, but just wasn't Egg Harbor Township's day, and that's because Camden Catholic played so well. They came down here, long road trip, took care of business.
Ellie with another long three, and that goes.
They
finally get a three to go. He actually has 2 threes in the game. In fact, they made 3 threes. He had 2 of them. Gurman had 1, and that is it. Camden Catholic 69, EHT 57. Camden Catholic improves to 7-1 as EHT falls to 8-2. But really, as you mentioned, Mike, that final score says it was a 12-point game, but it was all Camden Catholic, specifically in the second half of that game.
Yeah, the Irish owned this game really from start to finish. They built that 10-point lead after one and never looked back. And, you know, EHT kept it around 10 or 11 there for a while. And then, you know, right before the half and then certainly coming out in the third quarter, the Irish put the foot on the gas. Just really impressed. You know, it's a nice mix of youth and experience for Camden Catholic. You know, Wobu and Kennevan, those are the guys that you're going to read about in the papers and, you know, read about online, and they're going to fill up the box score. But as we saw in person today, I mean, Crump and Crawford are just as important to this team, and certainly you can see why this is a top 10 team in South Jersey.
Right, I mean, you got Crawford, a senior point guard, so that helps. Then you've got Crump, another guard who handles the ball, a senior. And then you got the 2 scorers who are sophomores, so the seniors kind of, you know, reel them in and kind of distribute. So it's a nice mix for them This Camden Catholic team, very impressive as they get to 7-1 on the season. That EHT, who falls to 8-2. You saw Gurman, obviously. They just did not shoot the ball very well today, but this is a team that we all think should make some noise in that Cape Atlantic League tournament.
Yeah, I mean, rather have a lopsided loss like this now than later on in the year. It's a chance to reset. And look, hey, maybe you just flush it. Maybe you flush the tape, the shots didn't fall. We'll get them next time. But, I think you take out of this that, look, we're a team that has to continue to create these open shots, and we have to get better defensively. I think that's also where EHT lost this game today, on the defensive end.
All right, EHT falls to Camden Catholic here in the Seagull Classic. We'll have another game coming up for you here in about 14 minutes here on BFA Live Sports. For this one, 69-57, Camden Catholic beats Egg Harbor Township on BFA Live Sports. Have a great rest of your afternoon. We'll have another game coming up in about 15 minutes.
When it comes to taking care of your physical wellness, maintaining good health of your bones and muscles, you want a team of doctors you can trust and who hold themselves to the highest standards. At Premier Orthopedic Associates, we believe that you should live life at your best. Our team of non-operative and operative orthopedic specialists strive for the highest standards, exceptional outcomes, and happiest patients. Come and experience the Premier difference.
We live in a community that cares. We make sure everyone eats, everyone plays, everyone stays warm, and everyone is protected. We support our youth in organizations that teach the value of community and self-worth. We make strides against breast cancer every day. Together, in this community, we make a difference. RK Chevrolet, RK Kia, and RK Subaru, proudly serving our community since 1982.
This ain't a game, I came with the gang. Look how we run it. The hustle and pain is just not the same. I came from the gutter. Ayy, whole team limitless. Never settle, we above. Whole crowd showing love.